Businesses fail for all sorts of reasons. But what about those businesses that start out strong and yet still end up failing? Today, I'm going to teach you the 6 reasons successful businesses fail and show you how to avoid snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Let's get into it. Number 1, your vision sucks. Now, the single biggest reason good companies fail is a lack of vision. Now, I realize this sounds a little cheesy and corporate-y, but stick with me. Vision is one of those words that gets thrown around so much that it's lost just about all of its meaning. So allow me to simplify it for you right here and right now. Your vision for your company should speak to why you deserve to exist. That's it. This is your purpose, your reason for being, the thing that gets you out of bed and inspires you to take on another day. And most importantly, it's the reason your clients and customers will enthusiastically give you some of their hard-earned wealth. And here's the deal. If you can't articulate your vision in 10 seconds or less, it's probably unclear, it's probably uninspiring, and it's probably misaligned. Now check this out. Stripe says its vision is to increase the gross domestic product of the internet and reduce financial complexity for businesses. Bam! Crystal clear, inspiring, and aligned with the specific service they offer and the specific customer they serve. Here's another example. At the Scalable Company, this company right here, our vision is to eradicate entrepreneurial imposter syndrome once and for all and help founders scale themselves so they can scale their companies. We truly believe that the world is a better place when founders stay at the helm of their companies as long as they want to. And everything we do is in support of that greater calling. Our employees know it, our customers know it, and now you know it too. Heck, I even got it tattooed on my back. That's not true. I didn't do that. So, what's your vision? Here are 3 questions to help refine it. Number 1, who do we serve? Number 2, how will we serve them? And number 3, why should they care that we exist? Next, we head over to mistake number 2, you have the wrong strategy. Now, in the same way a scrappy, fear-driven startup vision can stall your business, you also can't afford to keep using the same stale growth strategies if you expect your business to scale to that next level. For example, certain marketing and lead generation strategies can seemingly, stop working as your business scales. So, to avoid causing your business to fail with outdated strategies, you need to be willing to scrap your old playbook and draft up some new ones. After all, expecting the same strategies to perform at ever-increasing rates is a bit like asking a bodybuilder to continue to get bigger and bigger while only eating baby food. So accept that what was good when your business was a little baby may not be good when it's bench pressing 885 pounds, which, by the way, was still the bench press record last I checked. I didn't set it. Okay, here are some questions that should help you if your growth strategies are letting you down. Question number 1, what growth hacks just aren't working as effectively as they used to? Are they outdated or are they simply not working at the same relative gain? Number 2, what resources, skills, and assets must we acquire to succeed in this new reality that we maybe didn't need in the past? And number 3, what critical projects have we been procrastinating on that we now know we need to complete? Moving on to number 3, you have people problems. All right, let's say your sales and marketing numbers aren't quite meeting expectations. Well, since we just talked about, scrapping some of those old marketing playbooks and getting some new ones, maybe what you need to do is just scrap your old director of marketing, right? I mean, after all, they're the ones that are leading marketing, so obviously they are the problem, right? Well, maybe, but maybe not. Now, the frustrating reality is that you might actually be the problem. I know this is not what you want to hear, it's why we didn't lead with this, but yeah, you might be the problem. I can tell you that in my experience working with thousands of founders over the last few years, the majority of people issues stem from a leader's inability to clearly articulate expectations and coach up their teams to achieve their full potential. I want you to ask yourself and your team the following questions. Question number 1, who is responsible for what, and do they know it? That's a biggie, right? Very often, we have people on our teams who are responsible for things, and they don't even know it. Question number 2, do we have all the help that we need, or are some critical roles missing? Question number 3, are we setting up our best people for failure by asking them to do too many things? Okay, so number 4, you don't know how to communicate. Now, for some reason, and this is not just me saying this, is kind of like one of those known things, everything in business seems to break when you hit about 25 employees. And the reason is simple. It comes down to communication. I mean, think about it. It doesn't take a lot of skill or effort to communicate when your team is small. Have a question for someone? No problem. Just fire up a quick email, text, or Slack message. Need an answer even faster? Again, no worries. Maybe just stand up and yell it across the office. But at scale, all that goes away, and that's when things tend to fall apart. So here are some questions that you can ask to clean up your communications. Number one, are our company goals written down, and does everyone know how to reference them so they can see how the company's making progress towards those goals? Number two, how do we use our communication tools, Slack, text, email? Do we have a clear and consistent norms for how information is shared across these channels? And number three, what's our meeting rhythm? Does everyone on the team know when they will have an opportunity both to hear and to be heard? All right, moving on to number five, you need a better system. Let me ask you a question. How do you think Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos sent literal rockets into space? I can tell you it's not just passion and 100-hour work weeks, although I think they'd had that too. Really, it comes down to systems. Yeah, entrepreneurs joke about building the rocket ship on the way up, but you better believe these space tech teams had rock solid systems, processes, and documentation prior to liftoff. And you probably should too at this point. Now, look, I get it. Standard operating procedures are not sexy. The reality is, system creation forces teams to slow down a little bit, even stop. But good systems are essential for growth. And the process for creating these systems can truly make a business great. So here's some questions to audit the quality of your systems. Number one, how do customers happen? And is this documented somewhere? Is there a place someone can go and see, okay, this is the flow through which prospects become customers and are served? Next, how do we serve our customers after the sale is made, and is this documented? Do we know how we fulfill? Number three, what are the 7 to 10 truly critical steps in the value creation process that we absolutely must get right? Are those processes documented and used in both training and cross-training to get team members up to speed and to hold them accountable? Number six, more money, more problems. Yeah, I get it. Accounting can be boring. But do you know what's even worse than being bored?
I declare bankruptcy!
Running out of money. And believe it or not, that can happen. Yes, you too can run out of money even if you think you're making enough sales. Believe me on this one. I actually nearly bankrupted my entire company not once but twice by thinking that if I just brought in enough top-line revenue, I wouldn't need to make budgets or financial projections, deal with any of that pesky stuff, right? If there's enough money coming to the top, surely some of it is gonna fall down to the bottom. Well, boy, was I wrong. It turns out that it is always possible to spend more than you make at every level of the growth process. So here's some questions that you should be asking to avoid a cash-tastrophe. So did there? Question number one, if sales were to drop by 50% overnight, how long could we stay in business? Number two, do we have at least 90 days of operating expenses in savings and another 90 days available in lines of credit or easy accessible sources of cash? Number three, do I know roughly how much we are investing in customer acquisition, payroll, rent, and other major expenses? And number four, if we had the opportunity to acquire our single biggest competitor, would we be in a position to raise the capital to do it? All right, so those are the 6 killers of scale that even successful companies experience. Now, there's one thing about each of these 6 killers that you need to know. It is not only critical that you address them, it's critical that you address them in the order that I just gave you. All right, not randomly. There is a method to the madness, I promise. So go back, watch it again, take it from the top. Happy scaling.